Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. This is Alex Reedy coming to you along with the incense instigator herself, Sandy Reedy.
Is that a secret?
And this is episode 119 on November 9th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Monday, November 9th, Venus opposing Mars.
Sexual healing.
Tuesday, November 10th, Sun trine Neptune.
Trust through the weeds.
Same day, Mercury ingress Scorpio.
Think differently.
And Thursday, November 12th, Jupiter conjunct Pluto.
Off the charts.
Friday, November 13th, Mars stations direct.
Ford versus Ferrari.
And Saturday, November 14th, Sun sextile Pluto.
Nail it down.
Same day, Sun sextile Jupiter.
Life of the future.
And the new moon in Scorpio.
Deep yet promising.
And on Sunday, November 15th, Venus square Pluto.
Why are you here?
And Venus square Jupiter.
Loss, gain, change.
Then in Talisman time, Sandy has finished up very special talismans to receive fame and glory. Then the two upcoming, to heal illness and to be known as an artist in my circle. Then on the horizon, we have many events for you, even some pre-orders of our pocket planners online. So stay tuned. And in our house, Sandy and I are going to talk in greater detail about this weekend's quintessence retreat, as well as the speakers that we are most excited to listen to. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce, and so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, incense instigator. It feels like there is a secret behind that name, which we won't divulge here on the podcast, but you also, light up the incense a whole lot. So you are the instigator of incense.
The nose instigator. I love incense.
I mean, you
just... And I have to, suffocate, hard word to say, suffocate. All my talismans while I'm making them before I put them into the oven.
To clear the air?
Well, to give them the essence of the incense that's for each planet. So each lunar mansion has its own incense. Fixed stars have their incense, but particularly the planetary talismans that I do have a particular, like Saturn has its own scent. Jupiter has its own scent. So yeah, everywhere in my whole house, the sanctuary, my upstairs talisman room. My house smells beautiful.
It does.
But it doesn't smell like candles or, Glade spray.
Oh, no.
It's like natural.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go direct to all of our listeners. Thank you so much for sending in all of your feedback. Again, we adore it, and we adore you. We love to hear from you. We love to hear who out there is listening, because we can only see just a bunch of numbers on, these reports that we get. So it's always really nice to know the names and the stories and how you found out about us. So send those along.
Maybe there's new focus this week, right? We're not tied to the television,
right,
or to the newscasts, or to the computer
updates. Yeah. So
are you tired of that?
Nah, it's interesting stuff. It's good to see where our world is going. So I have some feedback from Janice from Illinois. She says, "Hey, Sandy, I was just reflecting and wanted to thank you for listening and being the guiding force that you are. I really, truly appreciate you."
It makes me want to cry.
It's good.
Gives me chills. Yeah.
Yes.
I love her.
Yeah. So let's move into the transits. So we have today, if you're listening on time, Monday, November 9th, Venus opposing Mars.
Can I go down the trickle
Oh,
of...
yes. Go ahead. I jumped the gun.
Well, I just like to name...
Give a bird's eye view.
I did on the intro, but then I just want to trickle down to see where we start at the beginning of the week on Monday and how we trickle down, and if we can make any sense of the phrases that I have titled each one of these transits. And so we start with sexual healing.
On a Monday.
So sexual healing, trust through the weeds, think differently, off the charts, Ford versus Ferrari, nail it down. Life of the future. Deep yet promising. Loss, gain, change. So it starts with sexual healing and it ends with change.
Okay.
I just like to see this in my visionary Pisces mind, where my Mercury and my Sun is.
And so let's start it off with the Monday, November 9th, Venus opposing Mars.
So this happens at 10:08 a.m. I gave you a little preview of it last week. But Venus is in her own sign of Libra, and it's opposing 180 degrees of Mars retrograde in his sign. And so Venus wins here, but barely, because Mars is always strong in, is more the force, where Venus is the receiver. Mm-hmm. But Mars is retrograde. So what are you attracted to? Has this been what you're itching for? And it reminds me, of course, what does spiritual healing remind you of?
The song.
Marvin Gaye. And I like I said, I find humor and, I don't know, wisdom maybe, in the sense that the universe, through the astrology, you can look at, I got all my calendars for next year, right? So I'm looking at, and I can give it a sense of what the day is, in 12 months from now, and I'll write it down. And I'll give a theme to it. But then when we get in it, then it makes more sense to me. So, for instance, I titled this Sexual Healing. I need some lovin', and baby, I can't hold it much longer. It's getting stronger and stronger. It helps to relieve my mind. Baby, I got sick this morning. A sea was storming inside of me. Baby, I think I'm capsizing. The waves are rising and rising. And isn't that kind of what we've been feeling this coming into this whole weekend? And here we are Monday. We're in this opposition of, Venus in Libra is about love and harmony and fairness and diplomacy. And Mars in Aries is all about moving forward, getting your way, being bold, being courageous. But it's retrograde, so it doesn't have much strength. But it thinks it does.
Right.
Right?
Interesting.
And it's the male female, right? Venus Venus feminine, Mars masculine. So this whole sexual healing, let's see how we can blend this.
Intertwine the two.
Anyway.
And so Tuesday, November 10th, we have two transits. The first is Sun trine Neptune. 11
a.m. Trust through the weeds. I don't know. This is Neptune in a trine. It's nice. So trust beyond the weeds, trust on the weed.
No, I like trust through the weed. Through the weeds, because it kind of reminds me of
eating the weed. I don't know. It's like, what? Applying trine to a superior planet means that the slower planet is about to turn direct from a retrograde motion. And so this Neptune, we're getting this sense that Neptune is about ready to station direct, which he does on the 29th. So in about 19 days. So right about this time, intuition becomes real. So what that vision or thought or intuition you had, is it coming to fruition? Is it clear? I ask that trust through the weeds.
Mm. And what kind of came up for me when you were saying trust through the weeds, it's, because when you're in the weeds, they're so tall that you can't see above them. You have no perspective. It's a fearful type of time because you don't have a direction. You're not sure where to go. And constantly these things are like smacking you in the face as you're trying to like move through. And so when you can trust in that process of uncertainty and in fear, and move and keep moving, that's a really spectacular way to get through it.
And it may, you give me then the idea that, and you feel lost because no one can find you, because no one can see you. You can't see them and they can't see you.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be this kind of panic period. But remember, it's a trine. So it has about, I'm perfectly fine here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you're like, which direction do I move? Call it in, get clear. Your intuition is right. Start moving. Follow the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Even like calling out like a Marco Polo type of thing to your spirit guides to just say, hey, what should I do? Use that intuition, use that gut feeling, ask those parts of you that have this wisdom and knowing that, our brains can't even fathom sometimes.
Yeah. Follow the sun because the sun is in a trine here.
And Tuesday, November 10th, Mercury ingress Scorpio. So it was in Scorpio before, and now it's coming back in from its retrograde motion.
Think differently? Do you think
Hopefully.
differently? I mean, do you? At 3:55 p.m. It's like you've been here before. Do you recognize this space? I'm hoping you have a new vision. Whether you have to use goggles, glasses, microscope, telescope, get your feelers, even if your antenna tuned in, because you need to think differently now.
Mm-hmm.
And interesting that.
And maybe some of those Marco Polo moments actually turn out for the better. And we can realize that we need to think differently. We need to really trust ourselves, trust our intuition. And even though like all signs point to this direction, in our gut, in our feelings and checking in with ourselves, we get that, no, I'm not feeling it.
And two, we have to watch for Mercury in Scorpio is about, watch something on the news on this day. I mean, there's a lot of news.
Yep.
Crazy stuff going on right now. But this day just seems to be like a secret is revealed, right? Because Scorpio is about hidden secrets, private, and Mercury is the planet of communication, wants to share the message.
Mm-hmm.
So look for something that makes you take into that question, think differently.
Okay. And Thursday, November 12th, we have Jupiter conjunct Pluto, off the charts.
Is
this a good off the charts?
Well, you know what? It was my favorite day when I wrote this last year. And I also wrote, this is astro interesting. These two guys, Jupiter and Pluto, meet up about once every 13, 14 years. And they're part of the kerfuffle.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's adding fuel to the fire. So make bigger than what it is currently. Okay. Add fuel to the fire. Jupiter wants to add, and Pluto is the transformer, right? Is the power.
Right.
It's also the pandemic, the epidemic, the disease. And so this is the third time. Now, please God, not another spike in the scale, although it is happening. We see it in the news. And I just want to bring this up. I was watching Chris Brennan's podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Love him. And he showed a graph of the 3 Jupiter-Pluto conjunctions this year.
Mm-hmm.
And each conjunction, because they were both in retrograde and they were staying kind of very close together, but the conjunction at the 22 degrees of Capricorn created a spike in the COVID cases. And then they started moving apart, went away. They came together again in the retrograde, spiked higher than the first time. Now, this is the day, Thursday, the 12th, where they're spiking again. And we already see what's coming up to be a possible, the next peak.
All-time spike.
And this,
right.
The all-time spike. But it's 3 of 3 and done.
Okay.
So the first one was April 5. And the second time was June 30th. And this, happens to be the times when we had those previous spikes.
Interesting.
So, and, watch, off the charts just means adding more fuel to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that mean? Does that mean that we would anticipate these two guys? Oh, that's a true statement. What would we anticipate going forward? That, the next time they meet, it'll be in Aquarius, and it's February of 2033. So it's 13 years from now. And it's in Aquarius, so it won't be in the Capricorn
right. Dynamic, yeah.
So does that mean that we can start seeing a decrease in the COVID cases? It certainly has been...
Looks that way astrologically? Okay.
So let's just look at that as a possibility, and we'll watch that scale, right? But it'd be so interesting. And like why I said, please God, let this, since we're already experiencing, let this be the last.
Yes. Yes. All of our prayers and everything go out to all of you guys out there.
Well, especially those that are sick or lost a loved one.
These are unprecedented times. It's insane.
And let's just hope that this grouping of Jupiter, Pluto, we've gotten the message. Folks, have we gotten the message?
Mm-hmm.
To be determined.
Don't cough in anyone's face. That's a big message.
Even to be determined what that full message is.
Right.
It just says use your inner power for yourself and not to fight against others.
Right.
Not to...
And to take responsibility for yourself, to put that mask on yourself so that you're also saving others. So I think that is a really resounding message here. It's tend your own garden. This is a huge, spiritual teaching, because if your garden is not tended, you have nothing.
And people are... I just have 2 girlfriends that moved from the city out to the land to get acres of property.
Right? It sounds really nice right now.
We're going into the air economy by, mid-December, which I'm having a Talisman webinar for that one, by the way.
Yes, we'll talk about that On the Horizon. So Saturday, November 14th, Sun sextile Pluto.
Well, you forgot Friday.
Friday. How could I forget Friday? Friday, November 13th, Mars stations direct.
Yeah, hold on here. Ford versus Ferrari. Great movie, by the way. This is at 6:36 p.m. And Mars is turning the corner, pivoting, turning the corner for high-speed pedal to the metal action. Now, he has to take his time. He's not Ford or Ferrari yet, because he needs to start moving,
and rev his engine before he starts off with the...
Well, he's slow. He's been going retrograde, so he needs to stop completely, either pivot or put the gear into drive from where it was in reverse. And then it just takes a while to get him moving. So, there's give it a period to get a new speed. It'll really come out of its shadow January 2nd of next year. Sounds like a far time, but Mars has been retrograde for a good 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since July 26th.
And so can I move to Saturday now?
Now
Are
you
we
can.
good? Okay.
Well, Mars moving direct is a big deal.
It is. We had a Mars retrograde whole
for
webinar.
2 months.
Yeah. And we had a
And
webinar about it.
And it's been in the shadows since July 26th. So my point is we should feel on this day, which is, we may know, even though in my politics and planets and politics webinar, Susan Goodell and I had predicted a presidential win announcement on the 19th or the 20th
of November.
So I wasn't surprised. Like, I didn't stay up late. I went to bed at my regular time that night because I knew we weren't going to have a president. And I think most people did. But the Mars stationing direct gives us a sense of moving forward. We now get to see it, what direction we're moving, and take our time as we start moving through the new streets, right?
Right.
Using an analogy of a car.
And I mean, also like a personal way to practically use this too, and we've used this in the past for ourselves personally as well, is Mars stationing direct is a really wonderful time to really go in and figure out some sort of athletic or like health plan that you have for yourself on what can you get motivated about and what, athletically do you want to start doing, or what plan can you put together so that when this is stationing direct, you're ready to go.
And it's probably too late now to do you can plan that. Absolutely. Yeah. But I'm just reflecting, wow, on the 4.5 years ago, I used the Mars retrograde period when we were closing She Beads and the big studio and, oh my God, all the stores we had and all the sales divas we had and all the employees we had and all the customers, all those people.
Yep.
Closing a store that was 27 years old, or a business, that I planned to do that during that Mars retrograde period where all energy had to go inside, and we had to clean stuff out. We had to make announcements so that by the time Mars moved forward, for instance, on this day, we were on a new trajectory. Right. And we were already doing intention beads here in the sanctuary. So it's a great time if you're using it properly, because it can build up frustration within self.
Yes.
And I know a handful of people that have gotten put in the hospital, not for COVID, but for heart problems, having this like high blood pressure.
And that's Mars.
Well, it's the heart is the sun, but it's internal pressure, right? So yeah.
Or anything, anxiety,
blood vessels, right? Mars.
So let's move on to Saturday, November 14th. We have, a lot of transits this day. Let's start with Sun sextile Pluto.
1:48 p.m. Nail it down. Now, had I known what was going on, this would have been my favorite day, because this is take every opportunity to make it right. It's a nice day. You may need to let something go, but that's okay. It's make it right. Make it right.
Right. Make it the right decision. If you're going to let it go, let it go.
It's not, maybe. No, this is a good time to look at something, somebody, some effort, some issue, whatever, and go, you know what? I'm going to set this right.
Perfect.
Because you'll have the support of the sun behind you.
I like that. It's very definitive. So same day, Saturn, November 14th, Sun sextile Jupiter now, which makes sense that the sun, since Jupiter and Pluto are conjuncting, the sun is going to hit them both pretty much at the same time.
Right. This is at 9:57 p.m. So this is about, 8 hours later. And remember, it's a sextile, so it's nice. It's blended, beautiful energy, but you have to put it into motion. And this is the life of the future. To be involved in the power of your own life. Because Jupiter is finally escaping the underworld. And it reminds me of the story, the myth of Orpheus,
Mm-hmm.
how he was the lyre player and he could make rocks and trees follow him. He can stop a bee from biting him or stinging him. He could stop animals from attacking him by just playing this. Well, he fell in love with this woman, Eurydice. Yeah. These myths have
They're
the
hard names. They are.
hardest names. But she died from a snake bite. Can I tell the story or no?
You're halfway there. Let's do it.
Well, maybe not.
Okay.
You always say my stories go too long.
No, I don't.
But I like this myth because Jupiter's coming away from the Pluto connection, the underworld and the Hades, if you will. And so when Eurydice dies, she goes to the underworld. And so he is so distraught that his wife has died, that he has played his way down, which Mercury is the only god that can go between,
the realms,
the realms between the upper world and the lower world. And he plays his lyre to get through the river Styx, the dog who guards the boat, blah, blah, blah. And he gets in and he pleads to Persephone, who's down there as the wife of Hades, just for 6 months out of the year. Right. And Hades is like, sure, you can have your wife back. And they call the wife. I'm getting chills right now. And Hades says, with one promise, as you're ascending from the underworld to the outer world, do not look back. And Orpheus goes first, up through the underworld. And just as he's getting to see light, but he's not in the firmament yet, he's going to make sure she's following him. And he turns around and she immediately turns to dust.
No.
And he has a sad life beyond that. But my point is to finally escape the underworld. So don't look back.
Yeah, life of the future.
Life of the future. We're done. Don't stay in that. Move forward. Don't turn to dust.
Right. The past is behind us for a reason.
Don't have what you came here to get. Have it.
Right.
So,
and looking onward.
That's I get to, please, thank you for letting me sow my mythology in there.
I like mythology a whole lot. It wasn't a long story. So let's move on. Same day, Saturday, November 14th, new moon in Scorpio.
23 degrees of Scorpio, 11:07 p.m. Deep yet promising. And the reason why, first of all, it's in Scorpio. So the moon and the sun are in Scorpio, and, probing, secretive, getting to the bottom of things, right? However, this is in a sextile to Jupiter. Remember earlier in the day, like an hour and 20 minutes before we had the sun in a sextile to Jupiter, right? The whole underworld thing I just told you about.
Right.
Well, now here comes the moon. New moon. An hour later. So there's this feeling limited yet hopeful because Jupiter is in a sextile to the new moon. So kind of taking that story I just told you about doing something and springing back up from it. And you don't need to look back.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, what you are pulling up out of the depths of your soul or your being is going to turn to dust, but you don't need to look back. Don't stay in the old story.
And also, what are you going to learn from that too?
You've already learned it. My God, you've been here for too long. Yeah.
Okay, so Sunday, November 15th, we have 2 transits. The first, Venus square Pluto.
So this is at 1:43 p.m. Why are you here? Why? Right? This is about relationships. Square. Can be intense. But isn't that what you agreed to in the first place? Relationships are about putting two people of different natures, because nobody's the same. Everybody's an individual.
Right.
And there's an attraction. You agree to come together and date. You agree to confirm that dating into more of a serious relationship that gets, bonded further and further to marriage, right? And then you go into this whole years and years and years. But ask yourself, why are you here? Because it's time to revisit the why.
It's a big why, but also...
But you
at
wanted
the same
that little
time,
tension and that little friction and that little fun and that little So take another look at it. Just, it's not a, it's a square, and might have to do with your money, because if Susan Goodell were here, she'd say, she uses Venus as the money because she's the financial astrologer. I just love and, peaceful sexual healing relationships. So maybe that's part of this whole sexual healing, trust, think differently, rev up your engines, get set, be in your life for the future. It's deep yet promising, and do that. That's why you're here. That's why you're in relationship.
Mm-hmm. And if you wanted a song that goes along with this really well, there's one called Fresh Eyes by Andy Grammer. And I really like this song. It's got a great melody, and it starts with like, I've got these fresh eyes, never seen you before like this. However, when you listen to the whole song, you realize that these people have been like married or together for a really, really long time. But then all of a sudden she like dresses up or puts on that dress, and he's like, oh man, like it's almost
Why
like
are
seeing
you
you the first
red?
time, because I like that song a lot, and I like those moments, those fresh moments where you see someone with fresh eyes. And it can happen with anyone. It doesn't have to happen in a relationship.
No.
So
I like that, Alex. Thank you.
Yeah, check it out. Let me know. Then let's move into Talisman times.
Well, we have Sunday still, the 15th.
I am skipping around on these days. Sunday, November 15th, our second and final transit of the week, Venus square Jupiter.
11:33 p.m. So this is Saturday and Sunday are loaded. This is a square because now remember that Jupiter, Pluto are right together. Saturn's coming. It's Venus that's squaring, and loss, gain, change. So what we just talked about, why are you here? But that ends up being the conversation for the day, or has been a previous conversation leading up to this day. By the end of the night, you should really have decided and probably set yourself up for a win, because it could either be a loss, a gain, but it definitely needs to be a change. So set yourself up for a win. Now, a win doesn't necessarily mean what you might think it might mean. Right?
What, you win in a fight?
Well, no, that you win in, like, you get what you, like a win is getting what you want.
Oh, you're right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So not all the time is it about staying together. Right.
Right.
Sometimes it's broken and not bent.
Right.
I love Pink's song about it's not broken, it's just bent. Right. So something like that. We could have played that song.
No, I like mine better.
So I like Pink. It's not broken, it's just bent. Let's have which one do you like, folks?
Oh, we're now starting a challenge here. Interesting.
Yeah, because I love Pink.
So let's move into talisman times. You have finished up one talisman. This one was Saturday, November 7th, to receive fame and glory.
This was at 10:08 p.m. on Saturday. The moon was in the 11th lunar mansion to receive fame and glory. I accelerate my advancement and radiate my charisma out into the world. I get help from others. Like this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah, this is a moon in a sextile to the moon that's in 11th house lunar mansion in a sextile to Venus.
And I know we don't normally talk about this, but do you have a color in mind for that one?
Well, I already made it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's of light pink and yellow colors.
Ooh, pretty. So the upcoming talismans that you have, Wednesday, November 11th is the first, and this one is to heal illness. We have a lot of these, and I mean, perfect timing, right?
Yeah. And they sell fast. In fact, they pre-sell.
Mm-hmm.
And this one is on Wednesday, November 11th at 1:55 a.m. So if you want the pre-sale of this, that means you'll get up with me at 1:55 a.m. to be gathering this energy while
alongside, with you.
Yeah. This is with the moon in Virgo. The sun is in Virgo. The ascendant is Virgo. We're in a 14th lunar mansion, which is about healing illness. I overcome this present condition and constructively move to attain my goal of well-being and all things healthy.
That's beautiful. And also that ending statement, all things healthy, is also about mindset too.
Yeah. And the sun is in Scorpio here. Sorry. My Scorpio and my Virgo sign looks similar. So the sun is in Scorpio. The moon is in Virgo because it has to be in this 14th lunar mansion. And of course, the moon has to be right on the ascendant coming up to make it the wearer of the talisman holds this, healing the sick, healing and illness. Yeah. So.
And your next talisman, Thursday, November 12th, to be known as an artist in my circle.
I radiate my creative visions through artistic ventures. My art gets attention. I'm honored. This is the moon in Libra, conjunct Venus in Libra in a square to Jupiter. And, Jupiter's moving fast. Well, it's picking up speed, but it's going direct. Yeah.
And I really like that too, because I wasn't thinking directly about that, but even gaining awards within that circle that you have, that community of either other artists, where my mind went on that one is like in my personal circle, because a lot of times, I guess when talking to family and friends, it's not necessarily always about like quote unquote work, but just to be known even in all of those circles as that artist, even if you're just, an experienced artist or just a new and upcoming one.
No, this is a beautiful one.
So moving on and into the horizon, we have our pre-order still available for the 2021 Astrological Pocket Planners. These are what are called ephemeris, and these are ways for you to see an astrological calendar in front of you. If you've never had one before, they are pretty useful. What we like to do is in ours, we write down even these transits that we're talking about in our podcast. And these are transits that we're discussing and we're kind of breaking down complementary to you, so that when you write this down and you have this on your calendar, you can be planning a little bit more.
Well, it helps you too, because the glyphs, not everybody knows the glyphs. And so when we're talking, we say, Venus trine Neptune, you'll just look at that date and go, oh, that must be Venus. Oh, trine. Oh, Neptune. Oh, and you can
even practice writing the glyphs in yourself, which does take some practice.
It totally does. When I first started astrology, I'd be like, this looks like chicken shit scratch.
Slip that swear word in there. So yes, of course, all of these links that I'm going to be discussing on the horizon are in our description. Also, if you have any questions, email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. November 16th. Let's move on to this date. Normally, we were planning on having our virtual trunk show today, this day of, when our podcast comes out. However, we're switching that to next Monday, which is November 16th. So I just wanted to give like a big announcement that the date has changed. The really amazing thing about why we love our virtual trunk shows is that you can get into the raffle. Well, you can get into the event with a $10 raffle. That's all you need.
It does take a ticket to get in.
It takes a ticket to get in. Mm-hmm. Just because we don't want to have an overwhelming amount of people, and we want people there who are interested in finding their talisman. Mm-hmm. So once you buy a ticket, and majority of people so far have been buying multiples, because, of course, when they're going around at the raffle tickets, yes, you can buy just one, but it's also, you get better chances if you buy more.
And actually here, the way we do it, you don't even waste your money.
Right?
It becomes the money in credit
for the website.
Even if you win.
So all the raffle tickets that you spend, say you buy 10 raffle tickets and it's $100, you actually get a $100 gift certificate to use on the site. So this is pretty much a no-brainer. I don't know about you guys, but when has this ever happened in the history of raffle tickets?
Last time we did it, yes,
right? Okay.
Which went really well. So really, let me break that down. And do we talk about our Black Friday? They can use it at Black Friday?
Yes, but we're not there yet.
I know, but they can use this ticket, right? So they
can use their gift certificate.
So 10 tickets for $100 gets them 10 raffle tickets to get the intention bracelet of their choice for free.
Yes.
And they get $100 credit on intentionbeads.com website to buy what they want.
Right.
I know. So even on the Black Friday stuff.
Yes. So
some things might be like,
because we have our Black Friday
some things might be like, oh, you still have I want to buy this. Oh, I still have a credit. Mm-hmm. Oh, want to buy this. Oh, I still have a credit.
Yes. And there's only a little mini stipulation. This can't be used for previous orders. It can't be used for subscriptions. It can't be used for readings or retreats. But that leaves off all of our all of the talismans, all of the products online are totally game. So even if you buy a $10 raffle ticket, and you can use that $10 to go buy yourself your 2021 pocket planner. So right? Perfect. I mean,
so all you people, damn, right?
What?
Because I never thought of that. Yeah, it's
perfect.
It's a chance to win.
You buy a pocket planner later, but you get a chance to win an intention bracelet.
Yeah,
up front.
And
perfect.
How many people have bought the planner? Whoops, sorry, folks.
Yeah, I mean, actually, a lot of our listeners have
That's
started
what I mean.
To. Yeah,
they could have bought the.
Oh, that's
right?
what you mean.
Yeah.
Well, sorry about that. You just still get in. You'll find the $10 to use somewhere else on the site. November.
Because they can buy it next year, right? How long is the gift certificate available?
The gift certificate is available for 1 year.
Yeah, dang.
So I just want to preface this because next time we do the virtual trunk show, it's actually probably going to be more like 6 months. So this is going to be another reason why this is the virtual trunk show that you want to buy your raffle ticket for. So let's move on. So in the grand scheme of things, November 11th is, of course, before November 16th. However, I just wanted to give you all a heads up. If you are planning on joining the virtual trunk show today, it is moved to next week. So November 11th, we have a stationing direct Mercury, Mars, and Neptune webinar. This is just like what we were discussing when Mars is going direct. This is kind of the Ford versus Ferrari type of thing. I also used the imagery of a blast off at, the rocket ship is counting down. It's the T-10. So this is a really wonderful webinar to come and join us just to learn more about, like, not only is it Mars, but it's also Mercury, which is about communication, and Neptune, about this like imaginary, like living our fantastical life.
And we'll be talking about the long transit that Neptune takes 163 years to go around the chart. So if it's hitting a personal planet or an angle or a sensitive point in your natal chart, you will want to know about that, because it literally dissolves your ego to turn it back into a form of like premature birth or infantile to / fetus state in order to build back up and be reborn for that. So this is a really cool. I was like, yeah, this will be a good title. But the more and more we're working on this and we're creating these slides, and it's $20, right? $20. And you'll want to know at least what house your Neptune, the transiting Neptune is in, to know what that has been slowly dissolving in your life. And to know all that, it's an extra $5 to get your personal chart that I send to you the day of or the day before. And then you print that out and follow the webinar, and you'll wait till you get to that part of the slide presentation. And then you'll have it in front of you.
Yeah, you'll walk them through it. And November 13th to 15th, we are going to be co-speakers at the Quintessence virtual retreat. Somehow I triggered our Alexa just now.
Oh no, here she goes again.
No, I quieted her.
Okay.
So yes, this is a virtual retreat that we are really excited about. And we're so excited, we're actually going to be talking about it in our house, because we're with a lot of speakers that we want to talk about. So let's stay tuned for us to talk about that. But again, November 13th to the 15th, and that's going to be that virtual treat. And guess what? It's free. It's free unless you want all VIP access is $33. So here, these events that we're doing right now are just like steals. So I want to see people, taking the initiative, using this as a golden opportunity to learn more, to gain more, to get inspired. So let's move on. November 18th, we have our community check-in. Of course, you know all about this. We talk about it all the time.
Bring your Mercury retrograde stories.
Yes,
bring mine.
Bring your Mercury retrograde stories. November 27th, and I'll end all on the horizons with this one. This is our Black Friday sale. So we have this when we want, don't get too attached to this date and to this sale, because we like to change things up here. So the Black Friday sale is going to be big. It's going to be a really wonderful opportunity to get gifts, to get you the talismans that you've been looking for, that you've been really wanting. And they're going to be, yes, discounted. We hardly ever discount our talismans because we don't want to give discounted energy. However, 'tis the season, 'tis the 2020, year of we need to give more.
Well, not all talismans will be on sale, but
correct, selected.
But because we weren't going to do one, we weren't going to do a Black Friday happening. But on that day, the 27th, when we get there, and anybody that was on our November forecast, on that day, Venus opposes Uranus. And this is the day it happens. So it's kind of like surprise money. Like you're shopping, you're buying things like, oh, just throw it in the cart. Oh, yeah. Like it's kind of like that sudden purchase. So when I saw that, it's like, we're going to have a Black Friday happening.
The retail therapy.
Right.
Yes.
So that's the only reason why we're having it.
Well, and I also think that when we're buying and when we're buying for people, what I think people tend to do is really focus on the price point and focus on the quantity that they can get for a very low price. Now,
That's Amazon, and that's not us.
Right. And also that's a big reason why we needed to close our store too, is because I was shipping orders to people that live down the block. You know, and that was not even in COVID times. So like now I get it. But here, listen here, because this is important. When we use our income to get these presents that we're hoping for our loved ones, it's really important to make a conscious effort and know who you're buying from, because we want this money to stay in our communities. We want this to be sustainable for years to come.
Yeah, for all of us.
And so this is also another reason we are joining forces in the Black Friday sale, because it is going to be, everyone's going to be offering that. And so since we hardly ever do it, we're entering in the game this year. 2020 is going to be a big game changer for us all. So for us to use talismans and to step mindfully out of this crazy year that we've had is going to be so utterly important. And so that's why we do what we do. We make talismans so that you can have a physical representation of what your dreams are, you know, and living that dream every day. So yes.
Which then flows into the next thing that we're having December 20th. And all you need to know right now, since we don't even know the product line that we're going to be making, it's a talisman webinar.
Yes.
And it's Sunday, December 20th. It's going to be in the morning.
This is the first announcement we've made about this event. So all of you podcast listeners, you are so lucky because you subscribe and you know this firsthand.
It's not even up on the website yet because we don't even have a price. We don't have a product yet. We're going to be talisman making. But because of the new era we're moving into between December 17th and December 21st, with the Jupiter Saturn moving from Capricorn, moving into Aquarius at 0 degrees. They're moving together. Rare.
Holding hands into the big air-like party.
This is the Jupiter, the planet of abundance and growth, is holding hands, as you say, with the planet of discipline and restriction. So it's taking the long road far. What do you want to do? So I'll set up an intention for it. You will all make up your own affirmations. It'll be on Zoom. It'll be a slide presentation, and I'll be making this product for you in that moment for your talisman.
It's so cool.
And if you've been on any of the ones that I've had, did we do one this early?
The Venus and Taurus.
Yeah. That's right. We did the earrings. We did the beautiful Venus
Rose
retrograde,
earrings.
the Venus Kazemi, which was rare. So that's our next one.
Yeah. And I don't have a link yet for that. It will be coming soon. But of course, in that link, there is a sign up to be the first to know. That's a sign up for our mailing list, so that as soon as we are making the big announcement to everybody, you will be able to click and sign up. Let's move into our house. Sandy and I are going to be talking in greater detail about this quintessence retreat. So
what she's doing, it's Maggie O'Day, who is the retreat host and the business consultant. She's an author, she's a mother, and she has found yoga at age 16 and has literally transformed her life through just all about the Chinese medicine, she helps create creative entrepreneurs, but she also
she makes her own essences.
She also makes her own oil essence, bath, body and bath products.
And we connected with her because she was in a spiritual entrepreneur group with us. And she reached out and said, hey, I'd love to connect. I'd love to invite you on to this virtual retreat that I'm hosting. And so we're really excited about it.
Well, I went on when she invited us to the website. There are, how many did I count?
17.
That's what I thought. 17 speakers over a 3-day virtual, and it's coming up here on
November 13th to 15th.
So it's Friday the 13th, then Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, what she's done is interviewed us all and put our videos up on this retreat website.
Mm-hmm.
There's 17. I want to talk about one, like Jasmine Hanna. She's a shaman. I can't even say some of these words. Layla Ekhardari. She's a thought leader and a leadership expert. Dr. Betty Martin. She's a chiropractor, a certified surrogate partner and somatic sex educator. Liz Koch, educator, author, conceptual artist. Vanessa Florence, a writer, speaker, healer, artist. Annette Rugolo, global teacher, speaker, author, environmental healer, and soul guide. I want to talk about Roxanne Villa, but can keep going. Linda K. Klein, who is
That's actually, well, let's kind of stop here.
Okay.
Because.
And me. Oh, you want to stop there? And me. And actually, Dr. Anna Yusum, who you might have heard before. She's been on all the talk shows. She's on CNN. She's on NBC. She's going to speak also.
And we have, there's a lot. We're going to stop the list there because I don't want to bore everyone with all these names that they might not know of. But you were excited about Roxana Villa, who's a natural perfumer.
She's a perfumer. And when I love it, she's olfactory artist.
I can smell it already.
She's going to speak. But before we get into her, you guys, this is free. You get 5 when you sign up, and the link's below.
Yep. And you can go to inspiredlifeproject.com/journey.
And when you go on, it'll say, hey, sign up for free. You get 5 presenters. So which means you only get 5 of the 17 presenters. But if you spend $33, that's $33, that's under $35.
True.
That you get all 17 speakers. And of course, you get the recordings of all this. I just love the way she's making it just so easy for everyone to join. But back to Roxanne Villa. So, right, the botanical perfumes, she only uses particular organic products. I went to her website, quite impressed with her knowledge of the planet kingdom. She's an award-winning artist. And I don't know how she brings the gifts of storytelling and these conceptual thinking to her work in fragrance. But she uses,
that'll be interesting to learn. Yeah.
She's using the honeybee as her core base for all of her essences. So yeah, it's called Illuminated Perfume.
And my favorite that I'm really excited.
And she has an apothecary and a school in Santa Fe, which, that's my.
Oh, Santa Fe.
Yeah.
That's
Bali's
one
my
of your
first
favorite
home,
places.
and
Right.
Santa Fe is my second home.
Yes.
Yeah. But I
So-
live in Chicago.
And Linda K. Klein is actually my speaker that I'm most excited about to see. She's the president of Break Free Together, which is a community that's all about kind of embracing femininity and sexuality. She was actually raised in an evangelical, household, and it was very purist. And so what she does is she helps people be able to really connect with themselves on a deeper level than just like 100% purity, more on a humanistic level. So I think that's really interesting too, because the book that I'm reading, The Owning Your Own Shadow, is about, with all the things that you do good for the world, say you do like tons of great things, you also have that big of a shadow, because, you're, it's so interesting, right? When you think about it, because,
Well, oftentimes you work from the shadow, right?
Right. Well, and they also, in this book, they talk about how you can work from the shadow, how you can really envelop a lot of power from that place, but it also needs to be expressed in very specific ways, healthy ways, not blowing up at somebody and starting a fight, or, going into the dark places. So yeah, these speakers are going to be really amazing. My also favorite, her name's Sandy Reevy. She's an astrologer and talisman maker. So Sandy's gonna be speaking there as well. And tell me a little bit about what you're talking about.
A little bit about my story and how I believe that astrology is the path to our destiny. And it helps us along the way, because every day is different. Every relationship is different. We change on an interior level because our outer world changes and our inner wheel changes. Changes. And how do we blend those together? And all of our desires. So it was really interesting. But here's the other thing.
What?
When you go onto this website and look, because they offer each of the 17 speakers, including me, offers something for free.
Right. Majority of them. I think there's a few that don't, but majority of them have free offers, and it's really nice. I mean,
Dr. Yusum, she's offering 3 guided meditations. One person is offering buy one reading, get one free. There's a book. Anyway, go to the website and view it. And this is quite a thing. I'm looking forward.
We're excited.
Yeah. I've booked out so that I can
participate through it all.
Yeah.
Right.
Participating means sit on my couch and watch.
That's cool. That's our way of participating these days.
Yeah.
So,
and they're not all day long, right? It's 3 days and 17 speakers. So it's only like maybe 5 speakers a day.
Yeah,
4 or
5 hours.
5 speaker day.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's all for our episode today.
Yep.
Thank you all for listening. We love you. We love those reviews. So keep them coming. I'd love to speak more about, what your voices say about this podcast. So thank you so much, everybody. And we will see you next week.
Bye. Go pink.